I got to know about GitHub. Like we can use it to share code with others. So that's how I got to know about it. But this was the thing. Then Telegram was such a new thing for me, but nowadays I get to know that Telegram is the most preferred option for people to share their code.
Yeah, and mostly large code bases are shared there only because it supports very much high GB data. So yeah.
Yeah, share their code.
So yeah, going ahead, mostly large code bases are shared there. Now, would like to tell you that pro people use GitHub, while the normal people make multiple copies of their folders and store it in their own local desktop. And as Ashish mentioned, he was one of the person to use Dropbox. So yeah, that's the thing. And it is about project management, that it is essential for us to maintain different versions, be it creating different repositories of the same version. And GitHub allows us to do that. We would see in the next part of the session. But yeah, nextly, I would like to tell you an incident that this meme has happened with me as well. I was making a project and I was completely unaware of the code base and completely unaware of the tech stack which I'm using. So I have taken multiple copies from the internet and trying to just run the code in some or the other way. And then after when I opened that same code and multiple codes, after a month, I was just out of understanding that what I have did. So I was not able to understand that which folder has which part. So yeah, this incident has happened with me. So it was really good to see this meme and tell you about that. This thing has happened, and it may also happen with the coders and designers as well. That here you can see that different designs. They can mention that here you can see project and project two, and after naming it such a after naming it quite a few times, we just get irritated that we have to uh, name it and what we have to name it, as you can see here. So yeah, going ahead, what is version control? So version control in layman terms is kind of controlling the versions. For example, if I'm saying that I'm deleting a file from my phone or desktop, so if I want that file, then I can extract it because phone or the computer has that thing. Same is with the big people and big companies. They do hold whatever changes they have made. They do hold the versions which they have published. And if and we know that we are developers and we are born to do mistakes. So we make very much mistakes. So we uh, what we prefer to do is that if we are running a code and after something we did something and the code is not running, then we can just go back to that state. So that is kind of a version control, that we are controlling the version of the software which we are using or which we are creating. So it is used to keep track of the versions which we can roll back or go back or restore in case of any mistake or error by us. So yeah, one more incident which I would like to share of the hackathon. So in the first day, we have me and my friend had participated in a hackathon, and we were very newbie to the code and to the web development. So what we did was we created a initial things, and she was doing some additions, and I was adding something to the code, and we were not aware of that something like git is there, so we were doing our own changes. But after we need to have to present the code in in a hackathon, or the presentation you can say, I was completely not able to understand that which code to share, whether she has the good code or I should share my code. So it was we were in a complete dilemma that what to do and what not to do. So git can come in that rescue, so that you and your friend can understand that what all changes has been made to the code, and not to make you leave in that dilemma. And so we created an initial thing, and in that thing she was doing some additions and I was adding. Talking about what is git, as we have mentioned that git can help you. So git is an open source, free and open source software which you can use, and you can just download it from here, this link. So if anyone can drop the link, that would be great. So you can just download it, as we are also going to do hands-on. So it would be great if you all can just download it and keep it ready for you to use. So it is a distributed system, and you have a full control and full copy of what you have, and it is very fast and efficient for all the projects. And we will be also saying the commands and how to use, and how we can actually see Git works. So yeah, that is also. So yeah, as we have kept the session at GitHub 101, but while you're talking about Git, so let's understand the difference between these two. So Git is basically the software, while GitHub is a service. So GitHub provides one service which Git has, that is of maintaining the versions of the system, while GitHub provides many features like code collaboration and like pull request and issues section, etc. So yeah, so I would like to cite one more example here of Git versus GitHub. That if you are considering Git, so it is a command line tool which is much likely to be like Linux, which is there. While you can consider GitHub to be like Windows, where you need to just click upon some things and things would just work. It is not a clear example, but to just give you a gist that how much code you need to write in Git and how much you need to do in GitHub. So yeah, in Git we need to maintain different versions and it can manage it. But Git in GitHub, what we can do, it is a cloud and we can just host it and do all our work from there. So yeah, Git can be used for different locally. It can be used and keep track of your projects, and GitHub uses one feature of Git, and also it provides amazing features from GitHub. Now comes the very interesting part about the git add commit. So yeah, it is the commands of Git which we are trying to understand. So starting with working directory. So working directory is where we create our folders and do all our coding. Now git add is about staging area, that we are creating a rough idea that we need to add this code to our GitHub or something. We need to just work upon that draft. And then git commit is all about making final draft or making final changes, or considering it to be a permanent. So let me give you example in a very layman terms of this thing. So working directory, if I'm speaking about, so consider that you and your friends are planning to do party. So this can be considered to be as a working directory because you all are having conversation regarding the same. Nextly, if you are added to the WhatsApp group of the party, then you can consider it to be as that you are get adding that, or you're creating a rough idea of what you are doing. Nextly, if you have deposited for the party and you have confirmed your friend that you definitely would be coming to party, then it can be considered to be as get commit. So if you have please let me know that if you have understood this example or not, or should I explain it more. So yeah, feel free to ask if you have any doubt, because it's really really important to understand Git and GitHub here. Also, if you want, then I can repeat this whole part again. So yeah, please let me know in the chats.
Sonal, we are still facing the issue that guests are not able to access the chat. So
Okay.
can we allow them to unmute themselves and ask the doubts?
Yeah, that would also be.
Sure.
Yeah, that would
Okay,
also
sure.
work. So yeah, if anyone would like to ask, then they can. Otherwise, we can go ahead. And also, if after also, if haven't understand, then we can just come back to this and understand this also. So this is how the code works. So initially, there are three phases, you can say, that working phase, staging phase, and history. So if we are working on a working directory, then whatever things you are working, that is not being tracked and get understood by the Git, or you can say Git. And when you have staged, for example, when you have done the Git add, then it comes to the staging part where you have created a screenshot of the code which you are having. Nextly, in the history, when you have committed your code, then you can consider it to be as in the history, and you can see also what you have committed in the Git log, which you will be seeing soon. So this is a very funny meme that for developers, if they have even died, they need to just get back, and if they haven't uploaded or pushed or committed their repository, this GitHub, and they just commit, push, and then go back to it. So if you are not able to understand, then you can just get a quick gist of what I'm trying to explain of version control. For example, if I'm having project, then if I made any changes, I need to remember it in different times. For example, on 5th, I've made some changes on the index index page. Then I need to remember that on this day I've did this. And on 17th, if I've added any photo or that, I need to remember it. But when I'm using a version control system and I'm committing and adding and committing my project or my files, then Git remembers it with a commit message which we are adding here. And also we can keep track of the all the codes and all the commit messages. We can just go back and see what changes we have done. We can just switch back to the changes, and we can do very much and all the things which we would like to do with Git. So this funny incident happened with me. So I was once I was using Linux, and my PC gets into login loop, and then I rush to the vendor which is there, and he was asking me, we need to format the whole piece of your whole PC. So I very confidently said, okay, do it, because I was knowing that all my important documents, repositories, and all my code is safe in GitHub, and I'm using version control system, so you can say it is the benefit that I have got at that point. So yeah, we can have a quick walkthrough of the commands which are there in Git. So I would like to ask before, if anyone has any doubts, we can take that also, or start with the Git commands. Which is much like. So is there any doubt which is there regarding?
Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself and ask any doubts if you have.
Yeah.
I think Sonal, we can continue with the demo.
Okay. Yeah. So here are some of the commands which are there in Git, starting with git config. So in Git, we need to make Git understand that who we are and what email we are using. So this command is used. I can just show you using Git terminal as well. So if you want, you can just I can just paste this command on the chat. So git config is telling Git that this user had this name. So, and I'm using a flag which is local, which is telling that locally in this repository, I'm needed to add a user, a name that is Sonal here. So we can just add how we can add it. So by this command, it is not taking locally. I'm just make it globally. So yeah, in whenever I would be using Git, then it would be doing globally. So here I've added name Sonal, and so in this, I can do git config and telling that Git that add the username as example @gmail.com. So yeah, this we have done. Now the next command is git init, in which we need to initialize a repository. For example, I've created this holiday hacks name repository, and which I'm needed to initialize and tell Git that this repository, I want all the objects and references which are there in Git to be used in this repository. For example, if I've downloaded Git, it is not sufficient to actually run Git into our repository. It's really essential to tell Git to that I'm using this repository as to push and do the Git commands, etc. Also, you can, if you're not able to understand why you're doing Git init, so if I am downloading any software, for example, you can consider Node. Then if I'm downloading Node and initializing. So it does not mean that if I've downloaded Node, I can directly use it. I need to make the files with that extension in order to use it, and also do and add dependencies accordingly to actually use it. So here I'm initializing with git init. So here is the empty repository created in git init, and it is the hidden file and folders which git add to have all the objects which is required to have. So yeah, here I've created one file readme.md. Here you can see, and it is demo of holiday hacks, and I've written few commands here. And through git add, I can add my commands to git and tell git and use version control system here. So we can, after git add, I can do dot, which is used to add all the files which are untracked and not added to the version control system. Or I can just give a name of the file which is there, like git add readme. So it would add and take my code to the staged area, as we have seen in the PPT. So I am doing one more command, git status, to see what is the status of my code and what are the things which is happening in git. So you can see I am on master branch. So branch concept is there, and I am needed to, and the changes are being committed, and the new file is being added to git, that is readme.md. Nextly, I can commit my command. Then so committing is basically meaning that I am sure that I'm needed to add this code to
Sonal, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. I think I
No
need to
worries.
repeat it. Okay, I will just repeat once again. From which part I was on mute?
After adding, and you were explaining about status.
Yeah. Here you can see I've added a status. I'm seeing that what is the status of my branch, and what it is all about is the changes which I've done. I'm seeing that what Git is having. So here you can see use this command to unstage. So I can understand that I have staged this file using git add and with the name of the file which is there. And next is the git status we have used to see how the command is there in the git. Nextly, we are using the command git commit. So as we have seen in the PPT, that git commit is we are using it to add it uh, if we are sure that we need to add this code, and I'm setting it as initial commit. This is a message which you can see the comments which we add in the code. It is very similar to that. It is really essential for developers to understand that what changes they have made in which commit. This is my code. So you can see one file I've changed, and 11 insertions I've done. You can see that 11 lines are there, and it has added in create mode this readme.md. And here I am on master branch doing the commit and named it as initial commit. Also, I can see what all things I have done and what all commits I've done using the command git log. So you can see the name which I've initialized, Sonal, is there. User dot name is there. Then the email which I've initialized using user dot email is there. Then the date and the time, here you can see that 15th April and 5:30, and my commit message is initial commit. So the git log is in. So here I am in head branch of the master head. Head is pointing to the master branch, and here is the commit uh, SHA, which is the key used to come and reference a commit which is done. And using this, you can just come and go back to this commit. So I guess that's it from my side, and would like to ask Ashish to come over and take the GitHub part.
Yeah. It was great, I guess. So if anybody has any questions, I have posted a Slido link in the chat. So you can just
Yeah.
post your questions there, and if it is possible, we'll take some questions in between. And at the end, we'll have a few minutes for answering your questions. So we'll also take your questions there also. So in the meantime, you can post there. As of now, I cannot see any questions in the Slido. So if there is any, I'll just try to answer it as soon as I can. So Sunil, I'm sharing my screen for slides.
Yeah, sure.
Should use Git while creating any project so that we don't lose our codes or we don't lose our progress when something bad. So if it is still in your local system or it is still in your computer, there is still a chance that you might lose your work or you might lose the progress you have made in the projects. So that's why we use GitHub. So GitHub, you can consider it as similar to Google Drive or Dropbox, where we can store our code. So the basic thing about GitHub is we can use it for code collaboration with our friends, with anybody we want to collaborate on any project. For example, we are all students studying at a university. So we might be getting some projects to work on in our final semesters. So in that time, we need to work on a project with a team. So with a team, it is not possible that everybody is in the same city or everybody is in the same place or they can meet with each other and work on the project collectively. Usually it happens that somebody is in another city. So in our case also, Sonal is in some other city and I'm in other city. And while we were working on this workshop, we used GitHub to collaborate on some projects and try to work on some demo project. We can showcase it here. So that's why GitHub is really important, and we can store our code in the GitHub so that it can be accessed by anyone. For example, we store something, for example, a picture or our resume on Google Drive, and then we can share the link with anybody so that they can access it without ever sending the thing or that file to them over WhatsApp or over Telegram. So that's how we use GitHub for code collaboration. And the repository which Sonal showed in our local computer, how it looks like. So this is how it looks like on the GitHub. So it is the most basic part or most basic feature of GitHub where we can store our code. So this repository, you can consider it like a project folder only where we can store our code. So it has basically two privacy options. So either repository can be private, like you want some project with yourself only, like you are working in secrecy for that project, or it can be public when you want it to share with anybody else. So that can be two things which you can use repository for, and you can store any type of code here, like your Node projects, your Java projects, your C++ projects, or any web or front end projects you're working on, and you can share it with anybody else. So there are few tabs here, as you can see right now. One is the code, then issues, pull requests. So we are currently exploring the code tab where we can see all the files which are present in our repository. And we will also explore this issues and pull request tab later in the session. And there are few things to note in the repository. So if you see, here is the repository snapshot I've took for Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is an open source code editor which is built by Microsoft and many other open source collaborators. So here you can see there are three icons which are shown. So let's explore that what it means. So the first icon is fork. So fork is like whenever you want to work on something, so you do not have the push access or you do not have the edit access to that. For example, if I see the Microsoft VS Code repository, I do not have any edit access to it because they don't consider me as a collaborator or they don't trust me that I will do the right code changes. So if I want to try out something with the code, like if I want to change any feature in the VS Code. So what I'll do is I'll create a fork of that project. Forking means just creating a clone or a copy of that project on our own GitHub. Like if you consider Google Drive, so there is an option called make a copy or copy to your own drive. So like that, it is fork. So you can just copy any project on GitHub and you can change anything to it because you are the owner of that particular project. So you can change anything to it. And if you want to merge these changes or you want to propose these changes to the original VS Code collaborators or maintainers, so you can do so by creating a pull request. We will explore what is actually a pull request. And there is a star option. So a star option is just so that you can bookmark any repository, or it is like whenever you are scrolling something on Instagram and you like any post, so you just like it, right? To show the post, to show the original poster that uh, I like your content and this is how I show my appreciation. So that's how we use star in the repository to show our appreciation to the maintainer that they are doing some good work. And watch is like subscribing to any repository. For example, you want to know everything about the repository, what is happening, what new issue is being created, who has done any changes to it, who pushed a new commit. So all those notifications will come to you if you watch any repository. So it is like subscribing to a newsletter or something similar. And there are few files which you should look to whenever trying to look for a project on GitHub. So the most important one is the readme.md. As it signifies readme, it is saying that you should read me first before going to any code files. So README contains all the information about any project. For example, we just saw VS Code. So in VS Code, if I scroll down in the actual GitHub, so we will see a README file there. So that README file will contain all the information about VS Code, like what VS Code is actually and how people are collaborating on VS Code, what actual problems VS Code is solving, and how somebody can contribute to it, how somebody can install it on their local system. So all those basic things will be included in the review. License is self-explanatory. It is just a license to the users of VS Code that what they can do with the VS Code as a project, and they can distribute it to others. They can modify it, and all those things are included in the license. And these three files are more focused on when you are trying to do any open source contributions. So contributing.md, this just contains all the guidelines which a contributor should notice when they are trying to do any changes in the files of that project. Code of conduct is also self-explanatory that there are some guidelines or code of conducts which we need to follow while interacting with the maintainers or while interacting with the project files or while interacting with the issues or pull requests. So those are some guidelines which are here. Changelog is something which you won't notice when you are starting with it, but for big projects like React.js or Linux, for example, so when they release some smaller versions, so they cannot change the whole documentation. So those few things are included in the changelog file here. And this .md extension signifies that this is a markdown format. So like we have .txt format for text files, like we have some docs format for Microsoft Word files. So similarly, .md is a markdown format. It is a new type of file which is more similar to HTML. So you can modify, like you can bold something, or you can italicize any text, or you can add any code blocks. So those things are included in the markdown. And for issues, let's head over to actual UI so that we can explore it much better. I hope you can see the web UI of GitHub now. Sonal, can you confirm that?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So we just explored the code part of the repository. So this is a GitHub 101 repository which we created for demoing in the session. So this is my username pixel198, and slash signifies that this repository is owned by me. So the repository name is GitHub 101, and this is all the files which are part of this repository. So as we talked about license, so this is the license, this is a MIT license, and these are all the informations or permissions which are as a part of this license. And this is the README file. Currently, there is no such thing in the README file. So there is just a heading because we do not want to overwhelm you. So that's why we did not add much things here. But README file contains all the information about any project. So they can read about the project here. And these are some basic files. So this is a web project. There is an index.html file, and we can see the project here, like how it looks after it is deployed. So we will also ask you to add your name here. Currently, my name is there, Ashish, and some basic information about me. So I'll also ask Sonal to add her name so that I can show you how to collaborate on a project using GitHub. So this is a web project and these are some related files to it. If we come to issues, so issues are just things which we use to discuss on some ideas. For example, issues we use issues to discuss ideas, some new features, or some enhancements we want to do on our project, or we want to discuss any bugs. So we can discuss all those things here, and it ensures that whenever we are discussing something, so anybody can see all the conversations. So for example, currently, if somebody adds you to any WhatsApp group, so you cannot see the previous conversation there. So you are in the dark after added to that group, that what conversation did they do before I was joined. So in issues that does not happen. You can see all the conversations which maintainers or other users did. For example, we want to have a conversation about adding your name in list.json file. So there is a file here which is called list.json. We will ask you to add your name here as a part of this task, like creating your first pull request. So I have created an issue to inform you that you can add your name in the list.json file, and we are enhancing our project by adding your name to that file. So we can discuss all those things here. Like I can say that this is a good issue. I can comment it and it will be saved here forever until I delete the comment or not. So everybody can see that all those conversations which are going on related to the particular bug or related to any particular features or related to any particular UI enhancement things. So we can discuss all those things here. And there are some things which you should notice while looking at issues. So this is an open issue, means currently the conversation is going on for this issue. And if I want to show a new closed issue to you, so I'm creating a bug issue to inform the user that there is a bug in index.html, that it is broken. So I'll submit a new issue. And additionally, you can add some description here to define that what is actually the bug or how to see it. But considering that somebody added this issue, and when I checked that there is no issue here in the index.html file. So what I can do is I can close this by saying that this is not a bug. I can close with a comment. So what happened now? The issue was closed, which signifies that this issue is not currently in the conversation and we have resolved it or we have closed it by adding some comments. For example, somebody said that this file is broken, but I checked that it is not broken and it is not a bug, so I closed it. So this is how closed issues are looked like. And coming to pull requests are basically uh, a request we make to any maintainer or project maintainer to ask them to include our changes in their project. For example, if we go to this particular website which I deployed, and for example, I want to add my name here. So what I'll do is I'll create a new pull request, and in that pull request, I'll ask the maintainer of this project that please include my name here so that this project will be enhanced or something like similar to that. So this is why we use the pull request, and usually pull requests are an action that fixes or closes any issue. So if we see here in the issues tab, we added a new issue like add your name in the list.json. So we can create a new pull request by saying that we are actually resolving this issue. We are adding our name in the list.json file. So that is how pull request and issues are connected to each other. And by using pull request, we can just ask the maintainer of this project or owner of this project to include our code changes in their original project. So that is what pull requests are used for. And there are some repository settings which are in the settings tab. You can explore it later also. These are some basic things you can do. You can add some collaborators. You can add some default branches, or there are multiple things you can do. So this is the basic gist of it. And until then, if you have any doubts, you can post it on Slido. I'd like to answer if there are any.
Ashish, I've added a PR, so if you can just show them.
Currently, I am the owner of this GitHub 101 repository, and Sonal is considered as a contributor to this particular repository. So she has mentioned that this PR solves the hash one issue. So hash one signifies the issue which we just saw. Add your name in the list.json file. So what I can do is I can just see what commit she has made. So there is only one commit, added my name in the list, and I can see what all files are changed. So this is the file change she has done. So she has just added her name, branch, and all the basic details about her. So I think these changes are okay to be merged. So this particular button only I can see because I am the owner of this project. And if I add someone as a collaborator or maintainer, so they would also be able to see this button. So once I click on this merge pull request, GitHub will ask me to change any commits message if I want to change anything. And since I don't want to change anything, I'll just click on confirm merge. Then the pull request is merged to my original code base. And previously, as you can see, there was just Sanskar Divedi as the last entry in the list.json file. But now you can see that Sonal's name has also been added. And in few minutes, her name will also be shown here in the website. It takes actually a few minutes to deploy. So in few minutes, we'll be able to see that. Until then, if there are any questions, just put that on the Slido. I guess there is nothing similar to that. So I'll go ahead and show how to create a new repository, which you can use to collaborate on your own projects. So let's come to the dashboard of my account. And you can see there is a plus button here. So if you click on that and you click on new repository, so here it will ask you that what do you want your repository name to be. So for example, I'll say holiday hacks demo. So this is the repository name which I have given. I want this to be a public repository and I don't want to initialize this repository with anything. I'll just click on create repository now. So you can see that there is a new repository created, holiday hacks demo, and GitHub already adds you this particular commands which you can run on your local system so that you can get a head start while contributing to your project or adding anything. So I'll also show you how we can do that. I guess now my whole screen is being shared. Can you see my desktop?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just create a new folder here. I'll name it Holiday Hacks Demo. I'm opening the project, this folder. And if you all have installed the Git on your local system, so you will be able to see these two options here, Git Bash and Git GUI. So we need to click on Git Bash here. And I think the font size is very low now. I think it is better. So the first thing I need to do is I need to git initialize like Sonal did. So after doing that, this particular repository is initialized with git, and you can see that there is a new folder called .git which was added after running this command. So it signifies that we have initialized our git repository. And you can just go back to the repository which you created on GitHub to see what next command you need to do. So they are saying that you need to add a readme.md file. So we can do the same here also. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it here. So what this command does is it adds this particular text in the readme.md file. And if I hit enter here, you'll be able to see that a new file is being created. So you can see that a readme file was created here, and I can see what is in the readme file by using this cat command. So there is only one heading here which says holiday external. After doing that, we need to add the readme.md file to the staging area. So staging area was explained by Sonal that it is just a playground where we add those files which we want to commit later. So what I'll do is I'll just add, and I'll add this readme.md file. And if I check the status now, it is showing that new file has been added which is called readme.md, and we are ready to commit this change. So I'll go ahead and git commit. Because it is my first commit, so I'll say initial commit only. So I just committed my first commit, which is initial commit. I can also check it by running git log command. So git log command shows all the history of our project. So since there is only one project, since there is only one commit we have done, so it is just showing this one commit, which is shown here. And if you had any doubt in this thing, you can also ask in the Slido. So Sonal will be able to answer that. And now we have done that part, like we have added some commits here in the local repository. And what we want now is we want to connect this particular repository with the remote branch, which is our GitHub one, which you can see here, holiday X demo, which we want to connect it to that. So before doing that, we need to just run this command, which is git branch m main. So what this does is initially when Git and GitHub was created by their owners, so this master branch was set to be the default branch. But after few years, GitHub changed their default branch to main. So we just want to change the name of master branch to main so that we can push the code directly to GitHub. So for doing that, we need to run git branch hyphen capital M main. So what it will do is it will change the name of this master to main so that we can easily push the changes to the main branch, which is currently on the GitHub. And now we need to connect our local repository with the remote repository on the GitHub. So remote just means that it is somewhere in the cloud or somewhere in place which we don't know the address of. So we just want to add that this is the place where we want to connect our repository to. So this is the program which is git. Remote is the process we want to run, and we want to add a remote. And origin is just the shortcut for this long URL, which is github.com section holidayx demo.git. So we are just want that there should be a shortcut. We don't want to write this a long URL every time we want to do something. So if I add that and if I run git remote hyphen v means verbose. So it shows all the information about uh, git remote which we have added. So this is the shortcut name which is called origin, and this is the long URL which it is pointing to. And now there is just last command which is git push. So git push is just that we want to upload our code to GitHub. So if I run here git push hyphen u origin main. So what we want is by using git push, we just want that whatever is in the local system, like whatever the files are here, like there is only readme file here, we want to push it to the GitHub. So currently, if you see in the GitHub, there is no file here. Like when we are looking at GitHub 101 repository, there were a list of files which are shown, but currently there is no file. So we want to upload our file to the GitHub, and in particularly the main branch. So if I hit enter here, it will say that we are uploading something, and uploaded was from main branch in my local, which is this is showing here, to the main branch of the GitHub. And if I go here on the GitHub and click on refresh, you will be able to see the readme.md file which we just uploaded. And this was a basic thing. I think we should also show you the pull command. So if you click on this edit button here, all this pencil icon, so you'll be able to edit the files which are on the GitHub. I won't prefer you to do this because this is not a preferred way to do some changes on GitHub, because every time you should fork it and you should clone it on your local system, do some changes, test that code, and then only push it to GitHub. So because we are just showing you the demo, so I guess it is fine. And what I'll add here is a demo line added by me. I'll go ahead and click on commit changes. So this is the update message or the commit message which will be created. So now I have added a new thing here, which is this thing. And if I go ahead and check on my local system, like what does my readme.md file looks like. So it is initially showing the holiday X demo only, but in the GitHub I have changed it to this extra line I have added. So what I want is I want to pull, or I want to download all the changes from GitHub so that I can also work on it. So for that we want to run git pull origin main. So what I want to say here is this is the git which is program we are running. Pull is the option that we want to download all the code from GitHub. And origin, we are signifying that this is the place from where you want to download the code. And this is the branch where you want to download the code from. And if I hit enter here, so it will download all those code, and it is showing that there are two insertions. So I have just added a space here, and then I have added a new line. And there was only one file changed, which is readme.md. And if I check again, what does my readme.md file looks like? So now there is a heading here, and now there is a new line added by me. So we just successfully downloaded or pulled all the changes from the GitHub. So yeah, this is how a workflow follows whenever you are working on your own project. And yeah, if you have any doubts, just post it on Slido, or you can unmute yourself also. We are almost at the end of our workshop. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any doubts or questions for me and for Sonal also. I'll go ahead and stop my screen sharing. Sonal, you want to add
Someone
something
is
to this?
yeah, someone is asking what is branch exactly?
Okay. So branches are basically something when suppose you are working on something, suppose you are working on your own website and you have created a landing page and you have added just about yourself, a small paragraph about yourself, and you want to test you want to test a new layout. For example, currently your image is on the left side and you want it to be on right side, but you are not sure will it work or not. So you want a test ground for yourself that if I test this layout, will it work or not. So what you can do, you can create a new branch from your current main branch. What it will do, it will just create a copy of it which you can test your code on. And if you feel the code is working fine, then you can merge that same branch to the original branch, signifying that you have worked on something which is you have changed your layout, you have tested it, it is working fine, and then you feel if it is fine, it is working good, it will be good for the viewers also. So you can merge it back to the main branch. So then it will be on production. That's how basic branch works.
Yeah, also I would like to share some resources from Microsoft and GitHub which you can go ahead and learn because they are just amazing and they are created by very good, I can say, CPMs of Microsoft, and they're essentially the really good. And also Microsoft Learn, the thing is there, which is really curated content is there in which you can learn various things.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first link is from the Microsoft Learning Lab, where you can follow some basic content about GitHub and you can learn on your own. So this session was supposed to be a just kickstart for your journey to this, like exploring what it looks like, getting a brief overview of what GitHub is and what Git is. And it is not sufficient. This session was never sufficient because we just covered the introduction part. So you need to get into it, get into depth, learn some intermediate stuff because you will need it to work on your own projects. So you can learn those things by going to the Microsoft Learning Lab and also GitHub Learning Lab. There are different ways of project curation there. So do whatever you like, whichever you prefer.
Also,
And
someone is asking that when we push and commit, then whole code gets replaced or changes are merged with older ones.
so whenever we push, so what happens? You are cloning something from the GitHub, and then you are doing some changes on your local. So there will be many times that you will just change few lines of the files. For example, I added a new line in my case. So if I do that and if I push it, so there will be just a small change will be done. So what Git will do is Git will check that previously it was looking like this, now it is looking like this, and it will try to merge both things. After merging both things, it will see that what has been deleted and what has been added. So it will basically merge both things.
So another question from Soumya is that can you explain the merge conflicts in easy line?
That can be difficult for me too because merge conflicts are really pain for any developer. So what really happens is, suppose I am working on a readme.md file, and Solar is also working on that same readme.md file. And there is a one line where we have added a heading. So what Sonal wants is, Sonal wants to edit the heading as my name is Sonal. But what I want to do is, I want to write that my name is Ashish. And we are committing at the same time in the same line and in the same file. So basically, we are doing the work on the same thing, but on our separate copies. But when we try to add something to the GitHub, so what it will do is it will check that, okay, Sonal is trying to do this, Ashish is trying to do this. Now I am confused what I need to do. Like, do I need to accept changes from Sonal or do I need to accept changes from Ashish? So that's how merge conflicts happen. And in that manner or in that case, a human intervention is needed. Like someone developer needs to step in and he needs to approve that, okay, Sonal's change is better. So let's merge the Sonal's change and reject Ashish. So then they will request me that, okay, Sonal's change has been merged first. So now you can do the change first again. Like you can pull all the changes which Sonal has did, and after that you can change on your own. So this is how merge conflicts are resolved, and this is how they occur.
Yeah, also you can consider it to be as computer, because it is a computer and it does not know that what one has to do. So if both of developers are trying to do in the same, then they much conflict occur due to that only, because we are trying to do at the same point and at the same place. So and computer is a computer and is a machine. So there is the condition which we say that if I'm adding a loop or condition, then it may break at some point. So merge conflict, you can consider it to be at that as that thing, that it is breaking something. Yeah. And also tools are there, and various practices are there which you need to follow to actually avoid merge conflicts which are there.
Yeah, some of those things which I can mention is whenever you are trying to work on any project, so you should see that every time before working on something, you can pull. So for example, you are working on the main branch. So you can run the pull command, like whatever new changes had been added to the main branch, I should pull it first, then I can work on it. So that there are no merge conflicts in the future for me. And essential thing what you can do is you can if you're not comfortable with the command line, you can use some tools like GitHub Desktop or Git Kraken, which are UI based tools which can help you with committing or resolving your merge conflicts. So if you do not like command line, you can use these tools also.
I think duplication is asking to add it to that question only. If merged, then there are chances that code may mess up. Not able to understand, but I think it is after that question only.
Actually, yeah, I did not get that as well. So Gopikishan, can you please
Okay.
clarify?
Also, Preeti is asking of a quick recap of pull request.
Okay, sure. So basically, what pull requests are, whenever we are trying to propose any changes to any project. So for example, we just saw like Sonal was created a pull request to add her name to the website. I guess the website is deployed. I'll be able to show it to people. Yeah, it is deployed. I'll quickly share my screen. I think my screen is visible. Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
So you can see that Sonal has created a pull request and her name is shown here. So this was an enhancement to this website. So what we want to do is I need to find that repository first to be able to show it. Yeah, this was the one. So yeah, this was the repository. So I created an issue like add your name in the list.json file. And to do that change, you need to create a pull request. So pull request is like Sonal is requesting me that please pull these changes from my code base to your code base and merge it because it will enhance your project. So that's why the name is pull request and not push request. So this is the closed pull request which was made by Sonal. So what Sonal was trying to do is, in the list.json file, Sonal added her name, which was this part, Sonal Jain, and all the information. And what Sonal was trying to do is, she was requesting me that please add these changes to your own original project, so that we should be able to see that change here in this website. So I've actually deployed this website using GitHub Pages only. So once that pull request was merged, so as you can see that it is merged already, and after it was merged, my website was updated and Sonal's name was added here. And if you want, you can also create your pull request by adding your name here in the list.json. So you need to follow the format of the JSON here. And yeah, you can create your own pull request.
Also, as we are Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors, if you want to become one, then I'm dropping a link in the chats. You can just go ahead and apply because it's a student community and it's a global community which is open for all developers out there. And it is provided by Microsoft, and there are all great people in the community, so you can go ahead and join it. It would be really beneficial for you in your journey being a developer.
Yeah, I would highly encourage you to please apply for it because it is a nice opportunity. You'll be able to get some industry experience. We almost have at least one or two meetings which are on technical topics on our Microsoft Learn student community. So you can attend that and get some new skills. You can also get some certification vouchers also, which is directly provided from Microsoft to upskill yourself and also share that knowledge with others. Like we are trying to do it now. We are trying to share our knowledge about Git and GitHub so that you can also start your own journey. So I'll highly encourage you to apply for it. And you can also ask us for any help you need with the application. We would love to help you with that. And there's one more thing you can also do. There are some great tools which are part of GitHub Student Developer Pack. So you can also apply there also if you want to. But these are some great tools which you can explore as part of your student journey because you can also get that until you are a student. After that, you won't be able to get it. So yeah, please apply for that also.
Also, if
Sonal,
anyone has their questions, they can drop down in the chats. We would be waiting for a few minutes to take up. Yes, Ashish, what you were saying?
yeah, I was just saying that it would be great if you can drop your social links here so that people can connect with you.
Yeah, sure.
And it is looking like that we are the only ones talking here. So if you want to unmute yourself, it is the time which when we can network with each other. Tokir is also here. I guess Tokir is one of the cool student ambassadors, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Ashish. Okay.
So Tokir, it was great having you listening to us in this session.
That's always okay. I'm always here for the community to help out the student ambassadors and other students to get reach out to us. They can
Yeah,
understand the concept easily.
thank you so
Sure.
much.
Why not?
Thank you so much,
And
Tokyo.
thanking you people for presenting so beautifully about Git and GitHub. It was so easy to understand from your side. I hope everyone must have understood what Git and GitHub is and can contribute to the open source also.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see that more and more people are getting into open source and upskilling themselves.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you have any doubts or you just want to share something, just feel free to unmute yourself. And if people are comfortable, we can also take a selfie in the together mode.
That is the best part of Microsoft Teams. Really
Yeah.
cool.
Exactly. First out.
So folks, are you comfortable turning on your video? So we can just take a quick selfie just for a memory that we attended this session and it was good. Okay, I need to change the scene. Yeah, it looks good. Hey, Takir. Folks, yeah, if you are able to turn on your video. Hi, Amit.
Hey Amit,
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Hello, ma'am.
we'll take a quick selfie. Oh, we are we the only ones who are turning on the video? If anybody is trying to do so, please let us know so that we'll wait because yeah. Okay, I guess we were
Ayan
the
is
only
saying
ones.
that. Actually, Ayan is saying wait.
Okay, sure, we'll wait. Do you want me to change the scene? Because this is the standard scene we have. We can have something funky also. Sure, I'll try a few things. Just let me know if you like this one. This is a classroom format.
This is great.
Okay. I'm taking few screenshots for every scene we have. We'll later see which one we like. Yeah, sure. So it was great having everyone here. I've taken few screenshots. I'll share it with the community later. And yeah, if you want to share something here, or if you want to just ask any doubts, or if you want to just network, we are here. Just feel free to unmute yourself. We'd love to chat.
Yeah, it can be tech or non-tech, like anything would be there.
Yeah, it can be non-tech also. So it's fine. Takir, you're on mute if you're saying something.
I'm so honored to talk with a GitHub campus expert.
Well, I can say the same to both of you that you are both gold student ambassadors, and it is a great thing to be collaborating with you.
And I'm honored to have my first session with GitHub Campus Expert.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same.
At the end, we all helping children to gain much more.
Yeah, yeah. These are just means to help each other. So
Yeah.
Actually, Ayan is trying to say something.
yeah, Ayan, if you are trying to say something, just feel free to unmute yourself.
No,
Okay. Sonal, I guess there are no more questions, and I feel we may end this.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
great to have everyone and
Thanks
great
everyone
to
for joining, and
yeah.
thanks for interacting with
Thank you
us.
all for joining. Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you everyone for joining us. It was
Yeah.
great to have a session.
And there's one last thing I need to say. So this was done as a part of pre-hex session for holiday hacks. So feel free to register for holiday hacks, and somebody will drop the link in the chat. So yeah, I'll do the same. So you can go ahead and register for holiday hacks here. And this is a hackathon we are doing as part of our college, with collaboration with our college in the Bhilai region. So you can just go ahead and register yourself on DevFolio, and we'd love to see your projects, what all projects you make, and how you collaborate with your teammates on GitHub. So, and thanks Sonal for dropping the link tree. So you can find all our social handles here. You can also find the registration link there, and you can follow us for future updates. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. See you.